Alrighty. Well, welcome back to the RD and Roller Show. We got I guess you could say, special edition pod here coming at you on a Monday morning. We talked about NCRHA Nationals and the upcoming pod that you'll hear about later today too as well. But GCU National Champs, the Lopes, they did it 2 years in, and we're here to talk to two players from that team. But Anth, what do we got going over there? Do you watch that national championship game?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We talked about it in the other pod, but we're doing like a little kind of like time warp thing here, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about a pod we haven't talked about, but yeah, watch most of the game. Excited to have these two guests on. It was great for I think roller and just college roller in general that it was such a tight game, went into triple OT. Just really good for the sport. So I know one of the guys who plays for Temple was at the rink yesterday playing in his house league game. So shout out to him for making his house league game on a Sunday at 5.
Maine to Philly.
Yeah, well, they got bounced early, so I think they left early. But he did stay and watch that game, and he said it was a sick atmosphere at the game. So that
Yeah,
was
dude,
kind of
you
my
could hear
point. He said, yeah, it was loud.
like the horns from, I think it was the Lopes fans. They were even saying like Trefty was doing the announcing. Great job by Trefty. But the Lopes fans were going insane, horns and everything
Oh
too.
yeah.
So, and then you have, Lindenwood, they run with a big family. They got a lot of teams and they're always there cheering. So I think that was like, you couldn't matched up a better national championship than those two teams too. And the storyline, like that's just like all within it is so sick. So, yeah, excited to talk to these two players and,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say, and like both the guys we have on, so we have Aydin Schwetz coming on and Maxim Currie, two different paths. Like Aydin started the organization, right, and got it all kind of going for the college side of things, and then Maxim, I met him at Narch Winners, and he came in late, so and
And he's
kind of
a
took
young
over.
kid, right?
He's young, yeah, he's good though. He
Yeah.
when he played for Pure Maple at Narch. That Palma game, he was like insane, and then when we played him in the quarters when I was with the Skits and we played him in the quarters, I think we went to OT and we won in OT and he played sick in that game too. So he's definitely a big part of probably a big part of why, they got to where they are with GCU too.
Well, one interesting thing with GCU is they have three goaltenders, three
Yeah.
great goaltenders too. And it's what Pachichio or something like that. He was
Got
skating
the
out as
Muzzy.
well. Yeah, with the Muzzy.
Yeah.
Dude, tendies love skating out. That's just the thing we do.
Dude,
Right?
you look at you. Look
Yeah,
at me.
exactly. But he was skating out too. He was skating out there during in the national championship game, and they had, I believe, Ryan Meltzer on the bench. But they have three tendies, and he's a young kid, came in and dude stood on his head, 55 shots,
Yeah, it's crazy.
54 saves, and it looked like in the third period a puck caught him in his shoulder. We'll definitely have to ask him about, but dude, just battled through, and what a game.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was just so great for the sport that for like the first time in a long time there was like a meaningful D1 game where it wasn't like 5-1, 8-1, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
was a tight game. And I know we'll get into it more in detail with like, both players, kind of what the experience like and the atmosphere was like there. But like I said, it was definitely one that probably more people paid attention to and watched, in the past few years. It's definitely got to be the most paid attention in game. So
Yeah, I think they were saying it was probably one of the most, if not the most watched NCRHA finals, and you believe it.
it's
But
awesome.
yeah, there's just history of the NCRHA D1 national championship. So many even pro players playing it now. So yeah,
There's been some epic D1 games. Like remember the Newman and Farmingdale game. Like there's been
Lindenwood
some
and
Linden
Lindenwood and
and
Newman too. When it
yeah.
was so and
So there's been a bunch of those now. It looks like you had a new rivalry kind of in the mix here with GCU and Lindenwood. So it's good for the sport.
absolutely. Well, let's bring Aiden on.
But so our guest is Aydin Schwetz. He's from GCU, just won national championship. Totally just chirped me right off the rip, asked me if I built this garage in my room. So this is actually my office at the rink, but it's just like
Oh,
plywood.
okay.
So we actually came up with a name for it. We call it the treehouse now because Rob's been ripping me for every podcast. Thinks that one week because we had earthquakes, it was a shelter for the to shield my stuff from there. And so you just added right to the mix, but we'll just call it
I
Yeah.
the
love
treehouse.
it.
I'm trying to cover up all the plywood as you can
No,
see.
it looks good. It just
Yeah,
it the because of the roof, it kind of looks like
yeah,
it's your
it
garage.
it does. It's just
And
it's at the rink and there's no roof on the
mm,
on the office because for whatever reason. So yeah. So anyway, guys, welcome back to the RDN Roller Show. We have a very special edition here after this weekend's NCRHA National Championships. We have the captain, the owner, the everything from GCU. Aydin Schwetz is on the pod, as you just heard a couple seconds ago. So first and foremost, congratulations on the national championship. I mean, we'll just kind of start right there. Like, how did it feel that long game to kind of get that game, get that last goal, and be national champions?
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on the pod. It's definitely been many years since I've been wanting to do this. It's a very high honor, so thank you so much for having me.
Got it, man.
I mean, it was 5.5 periods of hockey, probably the longest roller hockey game I've ever played in my life. Probably for just about everyone else on that tile as well. I honestly like going into that game. I think most of us, at least on our side, were like, all right, like we've already accomplished everything that we set out to accomplish this season. We made it farther than we did last year. We beat Bethel. We got people to stop hating us so much, and it kind of got them to be on our side. We had people rooting for us from other schools. The first time we played Lindenwood at nationals, they actually cared about the game, which I know you guys have probably heard me say. It's like the biggest thing that I live off of is caring about the sport. I mean, when they scored a goal against every other team in the tournament, very little cheers, no celebrations. When they scored against us, everyone erupted. It was a big deal. So going into that championship game, we already won. Like we had already accomplished everything we wanted to. And so going into it, that was really just let's have as much fun as possible. And I don't know if you guys saw Travis No's comment on one of our videos earlier in the weekend. He commented on one of our videos and said something along the lines of love the Sellies. The team that is having the most fun usually wins. And boy, did that end up being so unbelievably true. So we went out and had as much fun as possible and kept having fun through 3 overtimes and had even more fun afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I that game was insane. I was watching it. I was leaving work trying to watch it in traffic. I was kind of getting pissed off. I was like, just I didn't want the game to end because it was such a good game, but it was a pure roller game. There was no like holding it behind the net for long periods of time. You guys went at each other, and there was no fear. And I thought that shows a lot about your team. Can you just speak on like what's your guys' locker room presence kind of like? Like what is your locker room like when you guys are in there before that national championship game?
So before the national championship game was definitely different than how we typically go into every other game, and I'll kind of explain the difference. So one thing that I wanted to instill from day one of our first season was I wanted to instill as many traditions as humanly possible into this program. Like, we were starting from scratch. We were, 20 plus years behind every other program in Division One, and we had to catch up. So we have very specific chants that we do. From day one, we started doing one that was based around a speech I gave kind of at the right at the beginning of the first season. It was called "Why Not Us," and like that speech was kind of based around, I mean, exactly what it sounds like. You want to win a national championship? Why not us? It's who's gonna eventually beat Lindenwood? Why not us? Like everyone else has just as much of a chance as we do, so why not us? And that has been a very prominent phrase that we've been saying over the last 2 years. So we have that chant. Um, and it's very we try and keep everything super light. Like we're probably one of the only teams that does a warm up. We saw a few other teams actually nationals that do it, but at least on the West Coast, I know we're the only team that does it. Like outside the rink, going for a little jog. We get a little handsy with each other, maybe is the best way to put it. Have fun and
Safe
typical
sport, safe
locker
sport.
room stuff. Just keep it light and have high energy, and high energy is really the biggest pillar of the culture of our program. I mean, if you listen to any of our talks like on the rink right before games, it's always about we have to be the loudest team on the floor. I'm not even talking about like communicating with each other on the rink during plays or things like that. More like someone blocks a shot, we erupt on the bench. Our goalie makes a save, we erupt on the bench. We score a goal, you celebrate as hard as we can. I don't care if we're playing a D2 team, a D3 team, a AA team. If the score is 6-0, we have to celebrate and we have to keep the culture alive because We have to care about it. And that's eventually why we won in the end. And so that's usually how it is. However, before that national championship game, it was a little different. I know it was a situation none of us had ever been in before, at least at this high of a level of the game. And what I decided to do was we have a song that we sing together at the end of every single major accomplishment that we have. So like after Western Conference Championships, we sang this. At the end of last season, we sang this. It was Something in the Orange by Zach Bryan. So I decided that
Big
since
Zach
we'd all
Bryan fan.
Oh, huge
Yeah.
Zach Bryan fan. So since we had already set out and accomplished everything that we had already accomplished, and in our eyes, we had already won the war. Maybe not the battle yet, but we already won the war. I said, screw it. We're singing this before the game starts. And so we locked arms in a circle in our locker room. And I have a video of it. I'll send it to you afterwards.
Oh, I saw it. I think.
we
On
saw
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah,
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 Garth
that was
posted
pretty
it.
sick. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we
It's
thought
pretty
you were
sick.
trying out for American Idol,
Oh,
GCU
yeah.
American Idol. Yeah.
And we sang that song to its full extent from beginning to end. And I got to be honest, I think that was a big part of it, of kind of calming our nerves and going into it just like any other game and playing as well as we did.
Did you tag Zach Bryan in that? I mean, that could be some good.
A bunch of people actually tagged Zach Bryan in the comments,
I was
which I
gonna
think is
say,
pretty funny.
you never know, right?
You
He
never
might
know.
catch
You
wind
never
of it,
know.
right? So
Yeah,
now that's got to be a tradition before, pretty much every national championship that you
I
go
think it
to
has
now,
to
right?
be. I think it
So
has to
even
be.
even when you're retired and stuff, you got to make an appearance, come back and lead the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. This program is my child, and I will never leave to the fullest extent. Like I'm trying to stay as much as possible, be as deeply and as heavily involved. I mean, going into next season, I've got a million plans already that have all been completely changed since winning that game, and I'm very, very, very excited. It's hard to, I could talk for Roller about it for hours, but accomplishing something like that just 2 years into a program, I'm not even really sure how to talk about it quite yet. It's quite too unbelievable. I don't think it's even set in with everybody quite yet.
No, I feel you probably won't for a while. Winning any type of national championship in roller hockey, any type of sport in life. I think we all know this. It's just like the greatest feeling ever. So you well deserved.
It's unbelievable.
But let's talk about like you used to go to Lindenwood, and I know we used to talk. You told me about your plans going to GCU, and I was like, wow, like that's some pretty big aspirations and stuff. I'd be pretty sick. Hopefully you can accomplish those. You know what I mean? But you always put it out there. You put it out there kind of like in the universe too, which is, I would say ballsy, but also like you're living up to your accomplishments. So let's take back 2 years ago. How did GCU come about? How did you create this program and, the why?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, I've done full podcasts on like my real true feelings about why I left Lindenwood, and I don't feel like it's appropriate to completely dive
Yeah.
in to like all the nitty gritty of why I left, but I'll give a very brief summation. Basically, I I went to Lindenwood originally from Arizona State. That was the first school I went to because COVID shut down ASU. Um, and Lindenwood was one of the only schools that was still going. So I was like, I'm not waiting an entire year to play college roller. So I'm going to transfer. And I did. So I went to LU for 3 semesters, year and a half, played two full seasons. Um, and the middle of the second year, we were undefeated. I was on the double A team. I was on the secondary team, the gold roster, and just really didn't feel like I was being given the opportunities to grow as a player as I was anticipating going to a school that is the Alabama of collegiate roller hockey.
Pretty good way to
Um,
put it.
yeah, I mean they're the greatest collegiate
Fair.
roller hockey program of all time. I mean, even still, it's going to take 20 years to be able to take that title away from them, and they still absolutely hold that. I felt like there was more out there. I felt like there was more that could be done, and I felt like there was a lot of so many more things that could have been improved upon about what I was experiencing and I knew that I was going to be the only person that was going to be able to do that for me because of how I wanted to be treated as a player and how I wanted to be my collegiate roller experience to go. So I decided to leave. Um, and I kind of looked around and absolutely no shade at any other program, but I was like, well, I can't go anywhere else because Lindenwood's the best. There's nowhere higher to go. So I got to start my own thing. Um, And so I was looking around, and I was playing for a Pi Ha team called the Coyotes, the Arizona Impact
I
Coyotes.
think that's how I met you.
And yep, that's how you met. That's how we met. And they were flying me out like once a month. Me and actually another Lindenwood player, Brett Wooster. They were flying the both of us out about once a month to play Pi Ha. And so that was kind of my first real experience in Arizona. I mean, I did go to ASU. I was living in an Airbnb for 3 months because I wasn't allowed to live on campus with a Vietnamese couple. That was what an experience.
That
Some
that that
stories
So
from that,
we're
huh?
going, yeah, we're
oh
going
my
Joe
God.
Rogan style now.
Oh my God, that was insane. And but anyway, so this is my first real experience in Arizona because everything had opened up by now and not everything was closed. I wasn't living out of an Airbnb room, and so I really fell in love with just the area of Arizona. I fell in love with the rink that we have out here that's really beautiful. I fell in love with the community, the roller community that we have out here. There's just so many good roller hockey players. I mean, the men's league out here, the Thursday night and the Sunday night men's leagues out here are insane. They're all pro, ex-pro, platinum level players. I mean, really incredible, some incredible hockey. So I started looking around here, and I found out that Grand Canyon had a rink on campus. And that was when the light bulb set. I was like, wow, that would be the ultimate selling point is that we have a rink on campus. I mean, who else has that? Even Bethel, they have their own rink, but it's 30 minutes away from their campus. So it's a different selling point. And so I kind of went from there. I decided to take a tour, fell in love with the campus. This is one of the most beautiful campus I've ever seen. I've toured so many schools. It was ranked like sixth nicest campus in the country for all American colleges. We have 6 pools on campus, 4 jacuzzis. It's 80% women. Like it was just such
Whoa.
an incredible
Not a
experience.
bad
Whoa.
place to go, fellas.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I mean, it's
This
4-1 girls to guys. Like, how can you argue that? It's just there's palm trees everywhere. It's sunshine. There's a rink on campus. So I pitched the idea to the school, and they were all about it from day one. Some of their promises maybe didn't fully come through, but it didn't really matter because I wasn't banking on it. It was Alex Parrish, the person that I started this program with. He's a University of Arizona alumni. I got him to go in on this with me, and we just hit the ground running on cold calling players. We spent the entire summer after we decided we were doing that, 10 to 12 hours a day cold calling players.
You
This
picked
is
up
our
2 players from the RDN team when we went to Narch
Yep,
together.
yep,
Yep,
yes,
yep.
we did. We picked up
You know,
Eric Buckholz and Xavier McCovey. You know who actually? I don't know if he's probably going to be upset that I say this, but the first kid we ever actually signed,
I
uh,
think.
it was Dylan Abamont.
Yeah,
Yeah. He had never ended up coming, which is totally fine. He actually texted me yesterday. But when that happened, me and Alex looked at each other because this was like a week after we announced the team. We
yeah.
looked at each other, we're like, holy crap, we just signed Abamont like as our first player. This is insane.
is a good
Um,
start.
and we absolutely lost our mind. We also got Patrick Mahoney, if anyone knows who that is. He plays at San Jose State now. Also, a kid we pulled from Lindenwood. Nicholas Adelbrick, another kid we pulled from Lindenwood. So we were picking up a lot of really big names really quickly, and that's kind of how we started this like hype train of okay, they're going D1 first season. These kids are insane. What do you mean? You can't go D1 your first season. You got to build your way up. I was like, no, I'm not moving myself all the way back across the country, starting this program from scratch to play anything less than D1. Um, so then we pick up Xavion, we pick up Buckholz. We go through the summer. We had a full roster about 2 weeks before the season started. Lost half of our players and one of our goalies. Um, Actually, Eric didn't really sign with us until actually at this 2 week mark. So then in those 2 weeks, we rebuilt our roster to 7 skaters, picked up 2 goalies, one of which was one of my hometown best friends, Jay Pacheco, who I've been playing against since I was 4 years old. So that was kind of a cool thing to be able to bring him and start playing college with him. And then we went from there. We just hit the ground running. We had a lot of things that we wanted to build the program off of from the beginning, some of which I've already touched on, like having high energy, actually caring about your goals and celebrating and being loud and things like that. Um, but also like treating your players as well as possible, and most importantly, creating as many opportunities as that we could humanly fathom. And what I mean by that is, a lot of these other college roller teams, they only play the college schedule, which is totally fine. But I know that wasn't going to be enough for me. So I made sure we did all of the extra things that we could find. We were scheduling exhibition games against men's league teams. One day in like November, we decided that we hadn't been playing. We hadn't played in like 3 weeks. On a Tuesday, our whole team was sitting in the pool at the Rivers on campus, and Xavion and Eric go, "Hey, we're going to Colorado this weekend. By the way, we're not going to be around." I was like, "Oh, what are you going for?" He's like, "Oh, we're going for a pie hot tryout." And I sat there and was like, what if we all came with you and we set up a bunch of exhibition games against any teams in Colorado that we could do? And we all sat there, we all looked at each other like, yeah, let's go. So that was Tuesday. Thursday, we rented a U-Haul, drove 3 cars up to Denver. We had no games planned when we left Phoenix. We were DMing guys on Twitter and calling people and texting you. That's how we set up the 2 exhibition games with Rob against the Denver Demon Dogs. We had one against the Lakewood Fire, one against the Parker Prowlers. But that we didn't set all that up until our drive up there. Like we just wanted to go. Um, and we've done so many things like that ever since. Like we started doing college bowls this year. I'm skipping so far ahead, but
You're
I'll get
excited,
back
dude.
to
You're
you.
pumped. You're a
I'm
national champ.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that it really just shows like, a lot of work goes into it. You know what I mean? You've put a lot of work into it and stuff. And just, it is cool to hear the story and what you guys did and what you guys kind of, where you're headed. In that, like, well, what did the boys get into after that national championship game? Did you guys get into anything or what?
We got into a lot of fun drinks. Definitely in the locker room. I'm sorry, Brennan, who told us not to do that, but it was a special
You're
occasion.
champs.
Past now, I
Yeah,
can't
it's
do
in the
anything about
past.
it
Yeah,
now.
we
Yeah.
can't do it
You
now.
can't take anything away from you
It was
now.
Gatorade, right? It was
It
Gatorade.
was sparkling Gatorade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I mean, we tried to find places to go out in Lewiston, Maine. There was nothing open. But so we stayed in where we were staying and just had at it with we had Andrew Ether from Bethel came through and we having it up with him and I think the real celebration is going to be here now that we're back. I think half of our team is already on a golf course.
There we go.
Right. They were begging me to come do this podcast on the golf course with them. I was like, oh, I want to be able to
Sounds
actually
like a
speak.
good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Or the
but like
worst idea.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Maybe we'll have to do maybe a Lopes pod all together, get all the boys in a room and do like a
Oh
10
yeah,
minute, like, little 10-minute pod. But
they
is
would be all
there
about that.
yeah. Could you is there one player on that team that might not get the credit that they, deserve or kind of is not like, the lights on them? But you guys have a very solid team and it seems like you guys are very close, but is there a particular player that comes to mind when you think like this guy's like the unsung hero?
Sure. As far as lack of recognition, I mean, everybody has been praising our starting goalie, Maxim Currie. So I don't think he's an unsung hero. He's definitely a well sung hero. He got recognized in the airport actually a couple of times when we were
Beauty.
when we were in Boston, and then again while we had a layover in Nashville. It was actually kind of insane.
That's sick.
Um, so it would definitely be somewhere between Bryden Frisk and Ruben Gonzalez. I know Ruben or Santi gets praised pretty heavily. I don't think Bryden does nearly as much. Frisky is such one of our glue players. I mean, he's still super young. He's technically still a freshman. And I know, and he just has such an undying love of the game that matched what we were trying to create as a culture so well. And it happens that he is an unbelievable player on top of his unbelievable mindset. I mean, he also got to be the player over Winter Nationals, if you remember this, that put in both goals in like a minute and a half to beat Palma in that round robin game from Pure
Yeah.
Maple.
Yeah.
That was him.
Maple, I was there. Yeah.
Yeah. So for him to, he got to do that, and he comes here, and he definitely probably the unsung hero that I can think of off the top of my head. He has been instrumental through all of this. He has grown incredibly as a person, and a lot of the guys have, but he has more than anybody else. I mean, last season he lacked basic intelligence as a human being.
I think we all do when you're first year in
He,
college.
Yeah.
so this
He's in a
kid,
new country too.
yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
was
in a
gonna
new
say it's
country. He's
probably
from
not really him. It's probably what he's doing outside of
It's
him.
true. It's true. So last year, in case anybody didn't know, we all but like two of our players lived in the same house. We had 10 people in a 5 bedroom house last season. And he decided, because college budget, that he was going to move from a bedroom, which was like $300 or $350 a month, to under the stairs, like Harry Potter, and for $100 a month.
You guys
And so
charged
this
him to
kid,
live under the stairs?
yeah, well, we were all broke. Like we needed a little bit of help. I don't even think he was paying the 100. I think someone else was covering it for him. But
Yeah, it's like, dude, just
um,
clean up after yourself, and we'll call it even. Like you're
exactly.
putting
So
under the
he
stairs.
quite literally threw a twin mattress under the stairs. And you know what's even the best part? His girlfriend lived in there with him. There was two
Oh
of them
my
in there.
God.
They had to bend over at like a 90-degree angle to walk in and out of this room. And but he hung up decorations. He had a Team Canada jersey up there. He had a little scarf. He had his things. It was a room. He made it his home.
So
And
so there's a room worse than my treehouse up here. So
oh, it's
that's at
so
least
much
that's
worse.
established. I'm
Oh,
glad
oh
you
my
told him for
God.
that that
And
Well, you know
reason.
he
what? From the staircase to score in a national championship game, or not the game winner, but the first goal of the game. So,
mhm.
which is
Yeah,
huge.
maybe let him have the couch tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe let him have the
let,
master bedroom or
let him
something
from
like
It,
out
that.
it
from
it
under
was
the stairs.
incredible. I mean, he's definitely the unsung hero, but we had a couple of those last year. We had one kid who lived in the den, and we built a fourth wall to close it off. Our first attempt was a curtain that we hung up from a rope that we found, on two nails, and then it was like this much from this tall wall. So then we bought a bunch of plyboard and was just started like stapling it together. We had no experience doing this.
Can you imagine
Um,
like he's like sleeping in the middle of the night, that thing just collapses on him? Just
no, we mounted it to the wall. We did do that
yeah.
much. His
Sure, with
door was a
the string you found, you mounted it to the wall. All right.
his door
I
was
see right
was a
through you college
styrofoam
kids.
piece that we slid back and forth. We had one kid, Cameron Bennett, who came in February, so pretty late into the season, and we're like, dude, you got to find somewhere else to live. There's already 9 people here. And he's like, no, 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 no. I have to live in the team house. We're like, dude, there's nowhere else for you to go. There's someone already under the stairs. There's someone in the den. There's someone on the couch. Like, there's 2 people in each room. Like, go somewhere else. He's like, no, 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 no. I got it. I got it. Kid shows up. By the way, after totaling 2 cars on his drive down from Chicago, in a matter of about an hour. Um, wait, did I lose
No,
out?
you're good. You're good. You're
Okay.
still good.
So he comes down and builds a room in our garage, out of wood he found and some stuff he bought at Lowe's. Yep,
There you go.
exactly. Well, not as
Yeah.
nice as that one, not
Yeah.
as nice as the
Thanks.
treehouse, but essentially that concept in a corner of our garage and in Arizona when it was about to be like the middle of summer. And he lived out there on an air
He's
mattress. It was actually it might have been the nicest room in the house, to be honest with you. Like he did it a good job. And so that was the 10th kid. But
so
to go
what
back,
you're
Bryden Frisk is the unsung hero for sure.
Okay.
yeah, I mean it sounds like him living under the stairs and the guy living in the garage, they might be the unsung heroes of the
It's
house,
true.
but
It was,
I'm sure that house
like,
smells great with 10 hockey guys and five
and a
bedrooms.
dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a dog. So
So, I mean, obviously, like, I think the sacrifices that a lot of those kids were willing to make last year, sacrifices, I mean, they're still making the same sacrifices this year, kind of is really one of the biggest testaments to a lot of these kids' mental dedication to the ideology that our team is built around. The ideology of caring as much as possible and throwing yourself completely into a sport that a lot of other people don't care about nearly as much as you. I mean, you're going to go your whole life telling random people I play roller hockey and they're going to be like, what the heck is that? So being able to get through stuff like that and being willing to live under the stairs and being willing to build your room in a garage just to be able to do this, to play for a team that I started it was a big honor and really a testament to what we're doing here. So yeah,
I mean,
definitely the
yeah,
unsung heroes.
what I'm getting out of it is, you guys take it very seriously, and it's cool to see that because, I don't think people take it. I think roller hockey kind of gets like the knock sometimes that it's like, oh, it's just like something you do like in the off season. It's blah, blah, blah. But like the fact that you have the guys out there doing pregame warm-ups. You guys have some, things that you're constantly doing as far as like practices, scheduling games outside of just your normal NCRJ schedule, and then even the stuff in the locker room with having the brotherhood, right, and the bond with everybody goes a long way, and ultimately led you to being a national championship here on this Monday morning or Monday afternoon now. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's been awesome kind of getting to hear the whole story. I mean, even the crazy ones with the guys living under stairs and stuff. That's always good. That's always good too. It's gotta. I feel like we need some pictures of it at least now to throw out with the pod. But
I'm sure we have some photos. I think I did a video tour at one point. We were gonna do a vlog. We
It
never did.
lasted about 2 seconds.
yeah, that got
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, just one little quick pan and you're done. But hey, man, we know, like you said, some of the boys are on the course. I'm sure you want to get to celebrate in there in Arizona. It's probably nice out, so kind of get it going. So we thank you for hopping on here, giving us a little bit of history, and once again, congratulations on being a Division I national college roller hockey champion.
Thank you so much. I'll never get sick of hearing that. That was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for having me
Yep.
and shining a light on this project that I've been building for the last 2 years that, a lot of people were calling us a little crazy for, but it ended up working out. And I appreciate you recognizing how seriously we take this. It's personally, I mean, I believe that the college league is the most important league that we need to be building up to be able to build everything out from outside of that, whether it was the youth programs or things like PIHA or any other leagues that need to be focused on. The college league has the most history, and that's why we want to take it so seriously. And these colleges aren't going anywhere, no matter how badly the government wants to shut us down. And I don't know if you saw those articles, but
Yeah.
Different
Joe
pod.
Biden.
different pod.
Somebody sent in a message. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Somebody sent us a DM. He's like, Joe Biden hates GCU.
Jesus.
It was the funniest
Yeah.
thing. It was right after you guys won, and I was like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever seen." And but yeah, I mean, honestly, like 2 years ago, you spoke about this idea, and I'll be even like one of the first person to say like, I don't think it's gonna happen where they will win like in 2 years. Like, I mean, come on,
Oh,
let's be
no way.
honest.
Yeah.
I think I was definitely one of them, and I'm glad I was wrong, 100%. I was glad I was wrong because you guys made a memory for everybody that watched the game, memory for yourselves, on both sides. Just the way Lindenwood handled the loss too is very, very pure class too. Some of the players just sending message to us about your guys' team, like pretty nice messages, which is pretty crazy. And it's a testament to what you've built and what you won the start. So like, yeah, huge congratulations. This is probably only the beginning, to a couple,
Absolutely. It is only
to
the
many
beginning.
more. So thank you again. And we'll get into, we'll bring you back on for some good roller stuff. There's
Heck yeah.
and some Bronson roller stuff. I think there's
Oh
a
yeah.
history behind Aydin Schwetz that people, definitely would be cool to talk about. I know he's Bronson roller, good roller, and all that. So thank you
I
for
have a
coming on.
Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. I've got a very funny Bronson post for today. So the first one in like 6 months. I think you
he's
guys will
back.
enjoy it.
Back
There
with
we
a
go.
bang.
There we go, man. Well, have
All right,
yourself a
man.
night.
We'll
Thank
see
you so
dude.
much for having me. Very much appreciate it, guys.
See you, dude. All right. Well, we are back with this second half of the RDN Roller Show, little special edition that we're doing here. Just after the NCRHA Nationals, we have the goaltender for the Lopes in the Division I, Maxim Currie, all the way from Canada. So first and foremost, my man, congratulations. We met out at Narch, if you remember, at the end of the tournament, and you were telling me you were going to GCU. And I'm not gonna lie, I did not think that you'd be the victor of a 3 overtime national championship game come May. So it's a full circle kind of moment for me, considering we sat there and we chopped it up for a little bit at the end of the tournament. And I think like even when you were talking to me, you were a little bit nervous. I think about maybe like attending, like didn't know what the situation was fully and everything. So, and now you sit here today as a Division I national championship. So congratulations, man. How's it feel?
Thank you, man. It feels good. It's been a short journey from January, but it's been a long journey. I played my first ever pro tournament at Narch there, met up with you. We had that electric game against Palma where we come out on top in round robin to make our playoffs, and that's kind of where some of us got our name boosted from. And stemming from that, it's my first ever roller season playing at a college. So playing for GCU, I come in They say that I'm going to have the starting spot. They're losing their last goalie. Then I get there and their other goalie is there. So kind of a little bit of heat right off the bat. It was a last minute thing. I decided to join the Lopes around Christmas Eve time. So 2 weeks before that semester started, that's when my process there started. I get there. We have three goalies. We battle it out. We play Arizona State, University of Arizona, handful of times, kind of rocking back and forth, not really earning my starting role. No one really knows who I am. And then I pull my groin at the beginning of March, and oh shoot, there goes all my chances to earn ice time. But we went to Nashville a couple weeks ago. We got swept by Bethel in 3 games to none at a little college bowl held. Played the Echo tournament, got a glimpse of the Lindenwood guys, and I was able to come here to Maine and earn my starting role in the first couple games, and it stuck. And I've been playing. I was playing good, and boys were playing good, and we just rolled with it.
How old are you, Max?
I'm 23 now. My birthday was during the tournament.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna say you're very, very professional, calm, composed too. So Aydin said you were probably the least weird goalie you've ever met, like very normal. And it's watching you play, you're very, very calm, a very calm and composure like that. Is that how you always approach games, or was this tournament a little different?
I'm sort of just a bottle up person in general. I'm not a let my emotions out. I'm just kind of let all the emotions sink in and hold it. I mean, before that last game, I probably cried 3 different times. Everything's so bottled. I mean, played the same songs over and over before every game, but that game was just different. I knew that an off ice warm up wasn't going to change anything. Like that was the game to be the game. Like there was nothing to change, nothing to really more to prepare for. And I sat in the stands, cried, sat in the locker room, cried, sat in the on ice warm ups, cried. But then it was just time to go. Everything was out, and all you can focus on is the game at that point.
Was it
And
like tears of emotion?
yeah, just a lot of ball it up, school stress, life stress. But I mean, I have to play for them, and I need them to play for me. And if I just let everything out, then nothing's there to distract me.
I think you'll start realizing this as you like start, playing more and more in this scene. And even as you get older, like sometimes the rink is the only place you can escape. No matter what else is going on outside the world, you may have school issues, family issues, friends issues, drama, all that kind of stuff. But I think you're probably, what you're pretty much saying is once you got on the rink, it was just stop the puck, make the next save, give my guys a chance to win. I'm going to have to make big saves. I'm going to have to, battle adversity when there's a goal that goes in or whatever it is. And, you can kind of let all that stuff that was kind of, not bothering you, but bottling up in you, just kind of let it all, put it on pause for, well, that wound up being a really long game, but typically like 45 minutes to an hour, but, put it on pause for a couple hours and just kind of battle through it. And you mentioned something earlier, which I want to talk about is just like, playing for Pure Maple, you guys kind of came into that tournament, and this is kind of how, I got to know you more. And you guys had that big game against Palm. It got you guys in playoffs. You wound up facing us, the Skittles, in the quarters, and that went to overtime as well, or it was like at the very end of the game. I think we might have scored, but whatever it was. But you played sick in both games, and Rob was saying, like, you have a really good, I wouldn't say like style of goaltending in net because you're not a gigantic goalie, right? You can't just sit there and just absorb pucks. So, like, is that something you had to adjust to when you came over to the States and started facing, guys who play more traditional roller hockey that can really just snipe at any opportunity?
I mean, I'm mostly an ice hockey goalie, and
Yeah, I
my
saw
entire
that. Yeah.
life playing up to midget AAA, playing junior B, playing in the NA3HL, playing ACHA club hockey in Lake Superior State University in Michigan.
Yeah.
Um, but I've had a handful of games in our Alberta Pro League where Chris Rockman and a bunch of other black ice pro guys hang out. And I mean, the puck was so much lighter when I first got introduced. Like I couldn't stop anything. My first few games in that league, everything was past me, and my defense would look at me. They're like, "Come on, man, I can't. I'm sorry. Like
I,
these guys, like this
yeah.
puck it's crazy. I can't move like I can on ice. I can't get there in time. My eyes can't see it." But I settled in a little bit, played a couple years, made my first real appearance at the junior men's tournament when it was held in Barcelona at World Roller Games. Um, we lost to Spain, I think, in the bronze medal. Um, but besides that, it's kind of been a slow climb. I've been in and out of roller, and then once we get to Narch finals and winter nationals, it's like, holy cow! Like these guys don't let off the gas. Everything's go go. Everything's a scoring chance. Everything's high pressure, and it's my first pro tournament and winter nationals, and it was a good eye opener for me that maybe I didn't have a first hot day there. I had a better second day, and I wish playoffs would have turned out a little better against you guys, but at the end of the day, like it was a great eye opener for sure. Like, I didn't think I'd find myself playing in the pro division anytime soon, or even at all. Like I haven't really planned for any roller to be in my future exactly, and it was just great to get these opportunities to come out and do it and to see what I can do to show people what I can do and just develop my game further because my progress from January to now has been absurd. I think I've become so much of a better skater, seen so many more roller pucks. It's just, I think I still have so much more to go too.
Yeah. Do you so you came from the Alberta League? Is that where you grew up and played hockey?
Yeah, so I played in that Alberta Ice League my entire life, and
Oh,
then two odd seasons in the Alberta Roller League.
okay, nice. Did you play any inline growing up, or was this like 2 years ago your first time like playing roller?
A couple of us we play instead of spring ice hockey, we kind of all transition to spring roller hockey. That's when our seasons kick up in April and May, and it was just usually just a friend group of a bunch of AAA ice hockey kids that we go out and we play for fun and we kick ass and beat the hell out of some teams. And we never really had any competition. It was a bunch of ice kids playing against roller hockey kids that maybe played double A ice hockey or house ice hockey. And nothing against that, nothing against them, but we kind of never really had any competition. So it was interesting this fast forward a couple of years and get to play at Worlds and then finally go to Narch and see what really like what roller hockey could be about.
What was your like was that your first time representing Team Canada in any fashion, ice or roller?
At Worlds
Yeah.
for
At
Barcelona,
Worlds, yeah.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
cool. So what just as a kind of odd thing here, like what were your thoughts on the smaller nets? We talk about it a lot on the pod. So I'm interested to get a goalie on here and talk about the smaller nets. Did you like it? Did you feel like you had to adjust your game at all?
For me, it was a huge mental block. Um, Obviously, it being shorter, it shouldn't change the way I play, but mentally, my brain was all over the
Racked.
place.
Yeah.
And I knew going into it, like I'm a 5'7" goalie, maybe this should benefit me, but it's just the way that it's perceived. And I'm a huge like technical, I'm a huge numbers guy. Um, I'm everything is kind of doesn't have to be perfect, but I know the purpose of everything and everything that's going on the floor. And to just know that the net was smaller and that I should be playing better or I should be stopping more pucks in theory, it screwed with my brain. It was hard to adjust, and we had a couple practices there, but it was I don't know. I don't like those small Euro nets.
Big posts, like they're like almost square. They don't have like any kind of roundness to them. They're like kind of a edge. So they're definitely
Yeah.
definitely interesting. And we always talk about how like it opens up different holes in a way because like there's
Hmm.
not as much upstairs. So like the shots typically are lower, right? Like you see a lot of goals scored internationally 12 inches off the ice or 12 inches off the
Hmm.
floor. So awesome. Yeah, I was just like I was looking through your Instagram earlier and I saw the picture of Team Canada. You had some sick gear too. You had the Bryans all matching like red and white. Like the style was there, man. So I just wanted to I saw the picture of you and Nen. I was like, oh, I wonder what he kind of thinks about it. So
No, yeah, it's yeah, I don't like those Euro nets. And all of those guys, the nets are so they can shoot so good in all those low corners too. It's almost like they're better at shooting on that net because they know they have such little room to shoot that it's all they've practiced. It's
it's
all you
true. It's a
can
good
shoot
point.
for.
It's a really good point.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like most of the goals are scored when you see like the world's games, the European teams. It's all low. Um, so what made you decide to go to GCU? Was there friends that you had there, or new program? What made you want to switch to go to there?
I ran into some troubles with my club ice team at Lake Superior State, and I played for them last year. I played half the season. Me and my buddy, we split the games 50-50 practically, and In the summer, I was looking to advance to ACHA Division One. I'm trying to move up in the rankings. I think I can handle it. And I commit back to my school instead of finding another school because they go, hey, you're going to get some more playing time if you come back. Great school, great program, great professors. School first, obviously. And they great computer science programs. I get there, and now there's more goalies they told me that weren't going to show up. Well, not a problem. I'll earn my ice like always. As a goalie, it's never easy, but 3, 4 guys there, you have to earn your ice. There's no other way to do it. And I get there, and I'm not going to say I got the short end of the stick, but it was a lot different than what was told to me in the summer. Yeah, especially in July, August, when it's pretty late to make a decision to go somewhere else. We get there, things don't kind of work out, and you know what? I'll see if I can transfer to a school. Brian and Frisk on GCU mentioned to me that maybe I should go play GCU. Been looking at other schools to transfer for ice hockey. And you know what? I look on GCU's website. They offer scholarships for international students and
Nice.
transfer students. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I'll go. Maybe I can earn these scholarships and not have to pay a semester of tuition, and we'll see how it goes from there. And so I enter I don't know if you call it the transfer portal at this age or in this club, but November hits and pretty late, and I decide to pull the trigger. I get in contact with GCU and I send everything over, and I get transferred. And call Schwetz Christmas Eve, say, hey, I'm coming to GCU, and he's like, oh shit, okay, I guess I'll see you. And that's kind of how it all just kickstarted.
Nice. Yeah, he was kind of talking about it when we were talking to him earlier about how it was like a very quick turnaround, not last minute, but quick turnaround thing. And then so kind of moving into now you're at GCU. You talked about and Aydin talked about playing all these scrimmage games to try to get you guys as many get your guys on the floor as much as possible, right? Not just playing the NCRHA schedule. So now we find our way all the way to this championship game. In the game, you're looking down the other end, and you got Marky Yeager down the other end is a great goaltender as well, and you're battling him. And I think there's a sick picture of you guys kind of dabbing it up after the game, just knowing that you both just went through war. 3 periods as a goalie and roller is, or 3 overtimes is insane. The amount of water you probably lost and sweat, and you're battling just the sweat and the crease and everything, right? So just tell us, take us through that game, from it's a 1-1 to when it goes through the entire progress of the game. Now you're in overtime. What are you thinking?
Well, first off, I just want to say Marky Hager, that kid is an absolute stud. That he is an unreal goalie, and he may not have had as many shots as I did, but damn, did he was perfect that game. He couldn't have done anything different. Let's be real. He made saves he had no business making. But to start the game, 30 seconds in, we go down on a 2-on-1, 2-on-0 gross play, and he robs Brian Frisk. 30 seconds into the game, and we're looking at this damn, we're not going to get many more chances like that. Lindenwood, they're automatic. Their defense is automatic. Their forwards are automatic, just up and down the floor. The game goes on. They get their chances. Refs call a good game. No penalties, really. It's a nice physical game, and they come down the floor a couple minutes later, and I make a big save on a down low 2-on-0. And it's just, well, that's going to be the pace of the game. We're going to get 2-3 chances a period, maybe, and they're going to get 5-6. That's just how offensive ready they are. They are go, 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 and they have so much chemistry. It's impossible to not let these guys have chances. They find ways. They demolish teams. They pick teams apart worse than I've ever seen in hockey, roller hockey, anything. And that's the mindset going in where, what, I mean, every save is going to have to be a big save, but at the end of the day, if they're going to score, they're going to score. All of those kids can score. First period goes by 0-0. You know what? We were in that position against them in the round robin. They were frustrated. They haven't really been held to 0, 1, 2 goals all season for a couple of years. And, we go into the second period. We get a power play. Brian Frisk scores on the power play, and it's huge. It's 1-0. It's oh my God, we have the lead. Now we can just play to hold it. And against a team that scores 8 goals a game, how do you hold them to 0 goals? And I mean, Marky Hager stood on his head all game. We had chances. They had chances. We get the lead 1-0 after the second. Like, no one knows it's over. Like, no one's thinking, oh, it's going to be a 1-0 game. Like, no one's, everyone wants us to win. Lindenwood has 4 teams there. They all want them to win. The crowd's going crazy on both sides. Like, you heard how loud the rink was in our Palma Maple game. It was equally just
Yeah.
as loud in that rink for
Yeah.
the entire game.
Yeah, it was crazy. Listen, you could hear it on when you're watching on the broadcast. It was insane.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the tournament, Aydin Schwetz told all the parents about our, for lack of better words, our give a shit mentality, and all the parents bought in, all bought air horns, cowbells, everything to be loud for us. And
So sick.
I mean, all the parents that came out, huge thanks to all of them, our biggest supporters and everything. But yeah, we're going through the game, and the stands are loud. But at that point, you don't hear them during the game. It's you, the floor, and the other team. Third period rolls by, and all I can remember is thinking like 2 minutes have gone by. I'm like, all right, we're 1-6 done. It's 1-0. The 8 minute mark hits. I'm like, we're a third done this period. We're going. And then the 6 minutes, the 4 minutes, and then we take a penalty with 3.5 minutes to go. I'm not gonna say it was a good or bad call. The guy slipped. It looked like he was cross-checking the boards. Penalty. I mean, it could go both ways. It's been a rough game all game. And then we go on the penalty kill with 3.5 minutes left in the game. And everyone's like, oh shit, like this, if they score on this power play, it's tied. If they don't score on this power play, I'm pretty sure the game's over. They come down, and Christian Acosta, he absolutely undresses me, puts the puck in the most perfect spot he could have put it in, 1-1. And I remember standing there in that looking at the clock with a minute and a half left, and just, I wasn't in disbelief, but I was disappointed. Obviously, the shutout's nice, but God, like, we wanted to win that game right then and there.
Before
Everything
that,
was going. Sorry.
before he scored, did you get hurt or did something hit your shoulder? Because it looked like the announcers were saying that you might have like got a puck hit your shoulder or something wrong.
So they ripped a one timer from the top of the circle there, and it hit me in the face. Well, I was hoping my straps came off, and I was going to try and milk an injury or try to shake my helmet off to get a whistle. And so I go down. I kind of glimpse up, see that they have possession of the puck. Because if we had possession, I'm sure the whistle would have went. And I was just trying to milk a whistle.
I hear
I
you.
was gassed. All the boys are gassed. I mean, we have
Mental
Ruben,
warfare, man.
Mental
yes,
warfare, baby. I love it.
like Santiago, Gonzalez, and Bryden Frisk. Like, they've probably played 30 of the 36 minutes this game already. Like, those two were on the floor the entire game, and I know I need to get a whistle for them. I need to get a whistle for me. All of us need a whistle. So I was just trying to draw a whistle. None of the straps ended up coming off my helmet. I shook my head, didn't come off, and I was like, oh well. Got up, puck went to the top, moves down to Acosta, and he comes down and scores. And I know I know it looked like I was hurt, but really I just needed that whistle for everybody.
Yeah, hey, I hear you. I mean, you're that's as truthful as you can get right there.
No, but I mean the announcers maybe thought I was hurt earlier in the tournament. I did throw my
You did a
shoulder.
good job selling it.
I had a pretty loose shoulder. In general, I've dislocated a handful of times, and dislocated it in the Bethel game. And so I could see how the announcers were thought I was hurt, but no, we needed that bad.
No, I hear that. So going into overtime, and looking at the shot count, sometimes it's wrong, but the second overtime, they had about 12 to 14 shots. Is were you gassed at really any point too, or were you kind of really just like adrenaline pumping?
I mean, it was definitely adrenaline pushing me. I was all out of the tank. We had to weigh our gear at the airport. My chest protector was 9 pounds on its own, soaking wet. Um, and then with the soaking wet jersey, I've got 13 pounds on my chest, which is a lot heavier than it would have been at the start of the game. But
Oh yeah.
I was out of gas, but I know everyone was out of gas. I sat there and I was like, you know what? I can't complain. our D-man have been playing 95% of the game on the floor, no breaks, nothing, hard up and down. Like without Frisk and Santi on the D end, I don't know if we win that game. They've just played way too many solid minutes for there to be more high scoring chances than there was. But yeah, first overtime hits, a little tired, but you know what? I can go as long as it takes. I mean, no one thinks it's going to take more than one overtime, not against Lindenwood. Um, First overtime rolls by. It's back and forth. Hager making unreal saves in every overtime, every period to keep his team in the game. I think with 30 seconds left in the game in the third period, he makes an unbelievable diving across the crease save. And I mean, once again, that kid was perfect. I mean, how do you beat him? And in my case, how do you beat me? Like those guys have goal scorers, but I just feel like they didn't want to shoot. I feel like they didn't know how to score, and I feel like we didn't know how to score in in
Good
roller
old
hockey.
goaltending duel there.
Yeah, it was unbelievable goaltending.
Yeah,
Dude.
you could just tell in how you're speaking about Marky as well. Like you just have like such admiration for. I mean, I think it's a goalie thing in general, right? Like teams can hate each other. I feel like the goalies always have like a side little, we might not like each other in the game, but like we're still a part of this goalie union. So you can just tell how much you like kind of respect your opponent down there, and that probably if you're thinking about that in game, you're probably like, damn, well, if I respect him that much, I got to equal and be better than that. Cause now it's next shot wins, right? Next goal wins. So I have to recognize who I'm playing and step up my game just that much. And it's exactly, what you did. And you guys ultimately kind of came out after 3 overtimes being the victor. It's got to be the longest game in NCRJ history, right? I mean, that's insane.
I mean, you go down the floor, he makes a 2-0, 3-0 save. And in my head, like, we're not going to beat this kid 2-0. I know 2-0, 3-0, those are the best chances you're ever going to get in any ice hockey, roller hockey game ever. But in my mind, I'm always hoping. I'm hoping that goes into 2-0, it's over now. No, it's not over. Kid stands on his head. And then 3 Lindenwood players back down the floor our way. I'm like, well, now it's my turn. And just back and forth all game. But at some point, someone had to break through, and whether it was tips in the front by Nick Edelbrick or Dylan Guy scored the straight shot, that was the moment. It was never going to be a 2-0, 3-0 goal by that point. It was going to be a through a screen, through a tip. It was a dirty goal was going to end that game, and everyone was just too tired, and everyone wants to be fancy, but when two goalies are hot, you're not going to score on the great plays anymore.
Got to get a greasy one.
Yeah. It's like playoff ice hockey. Every goal is greasy.
There you go, man.
What do you so looking forward now to the summer? Are you planning on to play with Pure Maple, or what are your plans for the summer for roller?
For right now, all I have is Pure Maple for Narch finals for 24U and for pro for
Think you could
24U.
I think you put your name on the map out there, boy. I think you never know. But the Pure Maple, that's your hometown boys too, so that's a big thing. But I just think the way that you played, and one thing about NCRHA, a lot of people, that's where they get looks from different teams to play pro. So it's crazy to say, but you probably will be having more people reach out to you. And I think Canada has a goalie problem now for, Team Canada, because they have phenomenal goaltenders that are playing, and, just you're a stud. So it was a pleasure watching you in that game. That was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, after the game yesterday, even this morning, my Instagram has been going insane. 40 plus followers. Like, I mean, obviously people I've never heard of before reaching out to me saying great game. I mean, I stepped off the ice, every parent and God knows where comes up to me, great game. At the airport, Lindenwood parents still come up to me, say great game. It's been great. The support's been great. I mean, I'm just happy I could win it for my boys first and foremost.
Now, do you have plans on going back there next year, or do you not know yet?
That I'm unsure about. It's the big question in the room and in the group chat right now. GCU kind of has not been, the school itself hasn't been very great to me, and took half my credits. So technically I'm a fourth semester freshman here when I should be a junior next semester, and it'll just be a lot as an international student to have to spend money on 1, 2, 3 extra semesters at
Yeah.
GCU if the shenanigans keep up like they have. So
We gotta get them funding, for the
Yeah, we
guys
got
playing roller. Like you just won a national championship. What?
yeah, talk to
yeah,
GCU. Well, I got to say, for now, for the next couple of weeks, hopefully you can ignore that. Enjoy yourself as a national champion. That's something that,
mhm.
especially for this program, you've only been there 3 full months to come in, do what you've done. And, um, like I said, you made a name for yourself. So congratulations.
Yeah, man.
Thank you
Congrats.
guys, and thank everybody, you guys in the pod, all the parents, our players, all the Linwood players, their coaches. It was a surreal event. I don't know if I'll ever experience anything more thrilling than that. 23 years old, I got a lot of life to live, but it was a great moment for everybody.
Well, hey, the future is definitely bright for you, brother. So congratulations once again, and thanks for hopping on the show here.
No, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
See
Yeah,
you, dude.
we'll see you.
All right.